Okay, Veronica, let's have a look at your essay. Let's have a coffee. Okay, great title. It sets a tone for the essay. It's perfect. Okay. Dear sir, now this is wrong. Now, looking at a couple of more mistakes that you've made in writing this, Veronica, I think you misunderstood that on page 114 it gives you some things about the report. Some are correct and some are wrong. In the report, don't start dear sir. Also, in the report, every paragraph should have a subtitle. You give a title at the start, but you didn't give subtitles of each of the essays. Okay, I think this is maybe something that you didn't understand. So for the next report, omit these. So dear sir, take this out. You ask and I answer. Your idea about a new common area is quite good. This kind of changes make our studies much more easy. Okay, two things here. This thing at the start, you ask and I answer, is not really proper English in a report. You say, you could say, in response to your request. That would be a little bit more formal. In response to your request. Your idea about a new common area is quite good. This kind of changes. Now this is plural, so this must be these. These kind of changes, or make this singular, and it would be this kind of changes. Okay, with this kind of change. So either singular or plural, but make them both match. Make our studies much more easy. Now this is wrong. Much easier. Okay, the comparative. Everybody needs to have a break, and something like a restroom is a good place to repair our mind. You wouldn't say to repair our mind, you would say to rest our mind, or to relax, or to disconnect. Well, disconnect actually is more kind of Spanish thing. You wouldn't really say that much. I would say to rest our mind after an intensive class. Now here, you put an useful element. Now I think you're missing the point about when you use an and when you use a. Use an before a vowel sound. That means you say an umbrella, because it starts with umbrella. Oh, an umbrella. An undertaker, for example. But whenever it's a U that's got a y sound, that sounds like a Y, use a useful element, or a unicorn, or something like that. Okay. And the spelling, useful, only one L. A useful element could be a coffee machine. That, of course, prepares coffee. Hot chocolate with an E, tea, and here this isn't proper English in a report. Don't use the 3 dots. You could use and other beverages or something like that, or other hot drinks. You can include a pair of armchairs. Include two, no. You can also include a pair of armchairs, a table, and why not, a computer with internet connection. I would use here, I'm not too sure, with an internet connection. Maybe it's okay without that, I'm not 100% sure. Whereas you include that, we could find answers to questions from lessons. This is okay, but this linker is wrong. Use whereas, meaning if you've got two choices, if one thing or if the other. Or you can use it as linker, meaning, how would you say this in English or in Spanish? Sin embargo. So whereas in this case could be used as sin embargo, whereas if you include it, we could find answers to questions from lessons. But of course, if it's whereas meaning sin embargo, it would have to be with a contrast in the sentence, and it's not. So whereas wouldn't be the correct linker to use here. If you include it, we could find answers to questions from lessons. At first I thought that a good place to situate this new space would be at hall, no, in the hall. But I refused this idea. I rejected this idea because it will be a chaos. Now here, use will for things that you think will probably happen or are quite likely to happen. If it's a possibility that you're saying it's not going to happen, use would. It would be chaos, not a chaos. It would be chaos. People leaving the hall, people arriving in the hall. So remember the prepositions here. People leaving the hall, people arriving in the hall, people having coffee in the hall. In spite of the hall, it's near to be the sheet. It's near to, okay. In spite of the hall being, not is, in spite of the hall being near to the street and to the fresh air. Yeah. Here you would say in spite of, and it has to be the gerund. If it's a verb, it has to be the gerund. In spite of the hall being near to the street. And also, this too isn't correct here. Oh, sorry. Take this away. This too is not correct. Near the street. It'd be close to the street or near the street. The second option was the first class, on the right hand. In this case, on the right hand side or on the right. You wouldn't say on the right hand, because it's big enough to be used used as a common area, and the other two rooms are bigger. Well, thanks for asking, sir. Hope you can replace, is it? A new area? Prepare, is it? Prepare. I hope you can prepare the new area as soon as possible. Okay, Veronica, there's quite a lot of mistakes here, okay? I don't know if this would pass the first certificate. I think this wouldn't pass. It would be just under a pass. Because there's quite a few things that you didn't get right for the use of for the report. One thing here, the report is formal or neutral language. Here at the end, this part, well, thanks for asking, sir. You can prepare as soon as possible. It sounds too informal. Okay. The other things, it didn't have the headings, and it starts with dear sir. But I think that was because you perhaps misunderstood the exercise on page 114. If you see on page 114, it says there's a report reference on page 200 and something at the back of the book. So go to the back of the book, and there's got the correct information about how to write a report. Another thing, there weren't a lot of confusing errors, which means you didn't really lose big points for that. There were, however, a lot of small things that the examiner would say, okay, if it happens once, it might be in despiste or whatever, but it's happened a few times, problems with the prepositions, and here, because is big enough, it's big enough, it is big enough. This is a very basic error that you really should be taken out of your writings completely. Here you've got a confusion with like and as. To be honest, not a lot of big things, but lots of small things, Veronica. Okay, so because I don't think it would pass. It would be just under pass. I think I'd like you to see some more linkers. Used whereas here, but you didn't use it correctly. Whereas is a linker. Also, however, on the one hand, on the other hand, and in my opinion, these kind of words and phrases that I give you in a sheet, use these please in the writings, because they do really bring the level of it up. Also, I'm going to, maybe for the next day, I'm going to give you some work to do in this, like and as. Okay, you need to practice that. I don't know if you were in the class when we did it at the start of the year, the difference between like and as. Okay, right, Veronica. So I would just say this under a pass. Right. So I'll see you the next day in class. Bye bye.